We are a nation hooked on pills and medicinal quick fixes. Our health service spends billions of pounds on drugs that we might not need. The Food Hospital is the first of its kind, dedicated to treating illness solely through food. Pioneering this radical approach are 3 medical professionals who will treat conditions ranging from diabetes to depression and acid reflux to alopecia. The Food Hospital is on the front line of the food as medicine revolution. This week's patients include a woman whose life is in the grip of depression.
I know what I'm supposed to do and I can't seem to do it.
A man plagued by irritating eczema.
I've tried different creams, different ointments, but it still keeps coming back.
And with a much bigger threat to his health.
I'm afraid we're almost at last chance saloon here.
And a mother whose life could be at risk from her limited diet.
You have been chronically malnourished and yours is a body on the edge.
And this week, Dr. Pixie McKenna will be looking into the truth about another modern health phenomenon.
Detox diets. Do we really need to do them, or do our bodies simply do all that work for us?
By using food as medicine, the Food Hospital aims to improve the health of the whole nation. The first patient today is a young man with what's seen as an old man's condition.
My name's Garrett Byrne. I am 36 and I'm from Dublin. I suffer from chronic gout.
Historically known as the disease of kings from its association with rich diets, gout is a form of arthritis which affects 1 in 100 people, mainly men. If you suspect you have gout, you may get acute pain and swelling in your joints, and it might ultimately stop them working. In a healthy body, the kidneys flush out a waste product called uric acid. But in gout sufferers, either the kidneys don't do this properly, or the body creates too much uric acid, resulting in excess levels in the blood. Gout attacks occur when this uric acid builds up around the joints. This leads to crystals forming, causing severe inflammation and pain. Garrett suffered his first gout attack 10 years ago. Having led an active life of climbing and running, now he struggles even to walk.
When it builds up in your knees, it's like kind of a layer of sandpaper between your kneecap and your knee, so it's not a good look to have, to be honest, not being able to walk. I'm 36, I shouldn't be hobbling out of cars.
With his gout medication causing him unpleasant side effects, Garrett has resorted to standard painkillers, which don't do the job. Now he's looking for a new way to manage his chronic condition.
I have tried to control my gout through diet, but if you cut out all the foods you're meant to cut out, you'd be left pretty much with tofu. Yeah, I don't know if I'd like that.
GP Gio Miletto starts by addressing the public perception of Garrett's condition.
There is this sort of stereotype, I think, of the sort of fat old bon viveur who's sort of quaffing his claret and port and drinking very heavily. Now, how does that make you feel?
I don't drink heavily at all. My father has it, my uncles have it. This is a hereditary condition for me.
It's interesting that you have a bit of a family history there, because that's probably contributing to it in some way.
For many people like Garrett, gout is genetic rather than self-inflicted, but the agonising results are the same.
This would be quite typical for a tophus, which is a swelling as a result of having gout around the joint here. And if you feel it, there's actually quite a hard lumps around the elbow joint itself, and there's a bit of sort of boggy swelling around it as well. I mean, when the pain's bad, what's it like? I mean, how does it affect you?
Oh, it's completely incapacitating. Completely incapacitating.
If Garrett's condition continues, the build-up of uric acid crystals could permanently damage the cartilage and bones in his joints, leading to chronic arthritis. The Food Hospital arranged for a series of blood tests to assess the amount of uric acid in his bloodstream.
So we've got your lab results here. One of the things that is immediately obvious is the uric acid level which causes these crystals to form, is very high.
Yep.
The upper reference range is 470 odd, and you've got one approaching 600, and that certainly would predispose you to gout.
Gout is often associated with other health problems, as Garrett's tests reveal.
The other thing to note is your cholesterol is actually quite high. So ideally, your total cholesterol should be under 5. Yours is 7.2. And that may be a contributing factor towards having gout.
The uric acid, which is causing Garrett's gout, is created by foods containing a compound called purines. So although there is no definitive cure for gout, dietitian Lucy Jones wants to show that by lowering the purines in his diet, the uric acid in his blood will come down, which may help to alleviate some of his symptoms.
So the diet we're going to prescribe for you today is going to aim to reduce the uric acid in your blood by helping your kidneys to flush out more.
If you have gout, you should avoid food and drinks which are high in purines. These include red meat and game, shellfish, fried foods and alcohol, particularly beer. With meat off the menu, Lucy shows Garrett an alternative as part of his low purine food plan.
So what we're going to be cooking is a high antioxidant, high vitamin C and a low purine load stir fry. Now, a little birdie told me that you love tofu.
Really?
Yep, they did.
I think they might have been lying. I don't want to spend the rest of my days going, listen, I'm sorry, I can only eat tofu.
Have you ever tried it?
No.
Alongside tofu, other low purine foods include vegetables, high vitamin C fruits like oranges and strawberries, and low-fat milk and cheese. This food plan should also have the added benefit of lowering Garrett's cholesterol. If you think a similar diet could help you, ask your GP to refer you to a dietitian. And for more information on conditions, log on to the website.
Okay, voila.
It's lovely. That's lovely.
Yeah?
It looks like tofu's on the shopping list from now on, isn't it? I thought it was brilliant. It's exactly what I needed, to be honest, to get some proper concrete advice. I'm looking forward to getting on with it.
I'm Dr. Pixie McKenna. This week, I'm looking into the truth about detox diets. These extreme, short-term regimes are meant to rid our bodies of toxins. Overindulgence in food and drink can result in many of us feeling the need to purify our bodies. Detox diets are all the rage. They range from DIY diets like cabbage soup to full-on colonic flush-outs, not to mention the number of products we can buy which claim to help cleanse our insides. The detox industry is worth millions of pounds. But what do we, the consumer, think about it? Do you think detox diets are beneficial? I mean, do you believe in them?
I do to a certain degree.
Detox, I use quite a bit, yes, I do believe in them.
Have either of you ever been on a detox diet?
I did a detox, the apple cider vinegar detox.
I'm currently on one right now.
You're on one?
Yeah, I am, yeah. You've got to drink 2 litres of water a day, and it's meant to flush out all the toxins from your system.
If you've just had like 2 weeks of non-stop drinking and smoking, detoxing your body, get all the bad stuff out.
It can be anything from drinking a lot of water, flushing everything out of your system, to obviously taking tablets.
So it seems that lots of people feel there is a real benefit to doing detox diets. But I want to know, do they really make us any healthier? And can we right the wrongs from just a few days on an extreme diet? Later, I look closely at the ingredients in one of the best-selling detox products.
Turns out to be magnesium sulfate.
Which is a laxative, isn't it?
It is a laxative.
And I get nice and close to a pig's digestive system. That's amazing.
The food hospital's next patient is a woman suffering from a condition that could affect up to a quarter of the British population.
My name's Debbie Burchell. I'm 36 years old. I'm from Nottingham and I have depression and low moods.
Debbie has been living in the shadow of debilitating depression since she was diagnosed 20 years ago. Apart from the obvious low moods and irritability, symptoms of depression also include difficulty sleeping, poor concentration, low self-esteem, and a lack of sex drive. Debbie and her partner Rachel are both professional pool players. It's a highly competitive sport, which raises her stress levels and affects her moods.
When I'm playing competitions, my emotions run away with me. And it can affect me. Shouting and snapping at people, very irritable. Snap at my partner.
It is affecting her whole life, her mood swings and the way she feels on a daily basis. She's not in a very good place at the moment.
Well gutted.
Debbie is prescribed antidepressants, which are designed to balance the level of mood regulator serotonin in the brain. But she feels they don't work, so she's come to the food hospital looking for a new solution. Patients with depression are assessed using a special questionnaire, so Debbie completed one before her consultation with GP Gio Miletto. Her score is 14, which indicates moderately severe depression.
How has your depression affected you?
I can get really quiet and low mood and cry quite a bit. And then I can, with the other range, I can go a bit hyper.
How often do they happen?
Probably about once a month, I think. I don't think it's...
Really? That often?
Yeah.
Right now, how would you compare it to how it's been in the past, or where would you say you're at?
I am very erratic at the minute, very snappy, very sluggish. I've always had problems with my weight for years as well, up and down, diets, on and off, lost weight, put weight on. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I can't seem to do it regularly or do it the right way.
What we'll try and look at, I think, is your diet, but not from a weight loss point of view. I think there's a danger that your sense of well-being and sense of feeling okay about yourself is totally focused on losing weight. And I think it'd be nice to take your focus off weight loss and look at not only a generally more healthy diet, but looking at foods that may help restore some of the chemical imbalances that you can get in the brain with depression. Debbie's really struggling with her depression, so we've put together a food plan that's experimental with the aim of trying to boost her serotonin levels, which should improve her mood. And for her, it's definitely an experiment worth trying.
Emerging scientific research shows that what we eat can positively affect our mental health. So dietitian Lucy wants to show Debbie how elements in certain foods can be used by the body to naturally produce mood-enhancing serotonin.
What I'd like to do is to talk to you about tryptophan. When we eat a protein food, it's made up of lots of amino acids, building blocks. So each of these pieces of fruit represent a different amino acid. And one of those amino acids is called tryptophan, which is this little fella here. Tryptophan is the one that we can make serotonin out of in the brain, that happy hormone. Okay, so you eat the food and it all chugs along in our blood and it gets to the barrier between the blood and the brain. And what happens is all of these fellas block the way so the tryptophan can't pass across. And what we do know is that carbohydrate is actually really beneficial for this. And that's because it increases your insulin, which comes along here and knocks all of these out of the way into the muscles where they're used. And that leaves the path clear for tryptophan to cross into the brain.
As well as tryptophan-boosting carbs, depression sufferers like Debbie can benefit from foods rich in zinc.
What we know is a whole foods diet with lots of fruits, vegetables, nuts appears to be quite protective against depression, and oily fish.
Other serotonin-enhancing foods are brown rice, chicken, eggs, cheese and oily fish like salmon. Incorporating some of these foods, Lucy has prepared a dish of sea bass, rich in omega-3, couscous, a great tryptophan-producing carbohydrate, and steamed green vegetables, which are healthy and thought to counter depression.
I would say that this is the ultimate happy meal.
Give it a go, shall I?
Tuck in.
That fish is lovely.
Yeah? Fantastic.
Very nice. I feel more confident after my visit today. I feel that somebody's going to guide me, and I think that's a great boost for me with my depression and low mood. that this will assist me to get out of that pattern.
Garrett is 8 weeks into his low-purine food plan. It was prescribed by the food hospital to lower the uric acid in his joints and hopefully relieve his gout attacks.
I hardly go near the meat aisle anymore, which is really strange for me because in the past I'd be very much meat with everything, and you know, it's meant just putting different things into my diet now. You know, this kind of thing, seeds and pumpkin seeds and flax seeds and everything. A lot of hummus, and I didn't even know where hummus was in the supermarket about 3 months ago. So and that's been a big change as well.
But swapping meat for low-purine tofu has not been an easy transition for the former carnivore.
Tofu, it's just nothing to it. And I just found it dull. So there are a couple of times where you just go, you know what, this is just too much like hard work. What I would kill for a steak, you know.
And while he's doing his best to eat more healthily, so far there's no sign of his symptoms improving.
I'm still in pain. That's going to go on, I think, to be honest.
Garrett will return to the food hospital in 4 weeks.
I'm Dr. Pixie McKenna, and today I'm looking into the truth about detox diets. I've asked the public what they think, and it seems loads of us are detoxing in various different ways. But are there scientific grounds for this modern obsession? I've come to Reading University to meet biochemist and clinical nutritionist Dr. George Grimble. The whole kind of principle of detoxing and the detox diet, what's it based on, or who's come up with this idea?
It's quite an old thing. They're fad diets, essentially. And fad diets, you can always spot them a mile off because they have elements of sacrifice, so you give certain things up. No tea, no coffee.
No booze.
No booze. And there are elements also of purification which come into it.
And in our search for purification, we're spending millions on products claiming to help rid us of toxins. But what makes them worth the money we're spending on them? We're looking at what's inside one popular detox product. Dr. Grimble identifies a key ingredient.
Turns out to be magnesium sulfate.
Which is a laxative, isn't it?
It is a laxative.
And is the idea behind that we're going to get rid of all the things that are clung onto our colon, all the bad stuff?
That's the sort of general view.
So if the primary effect of detox products is to empty the bowel, then you could buy a standard laxative for a fraction of the price. But do we really need any of these products?
The body has fantastic defences against toxins.
Dr. Grimble is using a pig's digestive system, which works in a similar way to a human's, to illustrate our natural detox abilities. As food passes through the body, there are various organs that efficiently work to break it down, absorb it, and flush out any nasty toxins.
That's the pancreas that makes very powerful digestive enzymes. And there's the gallbladder, which is full of very powerful detergents. And then you've got the small intestine, which is rich in enzymes, which will detoxify all sorts of toxins that are present in our diet.
So we've really got a massive chemical plant going on in here, detoxifying all the stuff that we take in anyway.
Yes, the detox process that's going on here is formidable.
Based on what you've told me, is there really any need to detox?
Not really. The body can look after itself, and we can look after our bodies.
But when we've really overdone it, can a detox at least help us a little?
It's not really going to turn the clock back. You're not going to rejuvenate yourself with all of these detox products. And of course, the important thing is, don't binge.
It seems our body is an amazing detoxifying machine, and there's little additional proven benefit to detox diets. So it seems sensible that adhering to a healthy diet consistently is the best way forward.
The next food hospital patient is 31-year-old Tristan, who's very overweight and suffers from chronic eczema, which affects 1 in 12 adults. as well as redness, hardening, cracking and weeping of the skin, it can also be itchy, painful and susceptible to infection. Feeling he's tried everything to manage his skin condition, Tristan has come to see Shaw Summers looking for a new way forward.
Tristan, your eczema has been a problem to you for some time now.
Yeah.
It's mainly on your hands, and we can see that you've got these thickened patches of skin that's slightly reddened, so it's slightly inflamed, it's becoming hardened, and it's clearly discolouring and disfiguring your hands.
Yeah.
When it flares up, does it become a lot redder?
It gets very, very itchy. Sometimes I can scratch it and it starts to bleed. I've tried different creams, different ointments, different moisturisers. It reduces it, but it still keeps coming back.
Still there. Is it anywhere else on the body?
Yes, on my ankles and on my knee.
It looks a bit angrier here than on your hands.
Yeah.
The exact cause of eczema is unknown, although it's thought to be a combination of genetics and lifestyle factors. In some cases, it can be triggered by excessive stress on the body.
Have you noticed if your weight's going up, it's actually a little bit worse?
Yeah, I'd say there's probably a connection there. I don't know if that's quite common, but...
It is, yeah. Whilst it's an inflammatory condition of the skin and you can get it at any weight, certainly if you're overweight, the stress of that on the body can actually bring out an eruption of eczema, as we call it. So with regard to your weight, Tristan, do you mind if we put you on a body composition analyzer and see what the readout says?
Emerging evidence shows a link between obesity and eczema. The theory is that significant weight gain weakens the immune system, making the body more susceptible to allergic reactions such as eczema. In Tristan's case, he eats a diet which is affecting both his weight and his eczema.
Yeah, I do eat unhealthily, but who doesn't? This is the 21st century we live in. You're bombarded with, fattening foods all the time.
Can I put you on, please?
Yeah, can I get a quarter pounder with cheese meal, please?
Okay, certainly.
Just think, oh, yeah, go on then.
A fan of fast food, Tristan's weight has dramatically increased in recent years. Although he's tried diets in the past, he's given up doing anything to address it.
All it is like women in leotards with tape measures around them. That's what dieting generally is. Nagging at people to lose weight, you've got to lose weight, eat healthily and exercise more. It doesn't help. Has anyone seen the price of gym memberships now? I don't know. It could be denial.
Having taken all his readings, Shaw reveals the truth of what Tristan's lifestyle is doing to his body.
What did you think you weighed, Tristan?
About 25, 28 stone, something like that.
Okay. Well, the scales put you at 34.5 stone. What the composition also tells us is the body mass index that you have, and that is a measure of how big you are for your height. A normal body mass index is anywhere between about 20 and 26. Once your body mass index goes over 50, we call that super morbid obesity. Your body mass index is 64. I'm afraid we're almost at last chance saloon here. And from my point of view, you're now in a category where, unless we can deal with your weight, it is going to kill you.
Tristan's results were quite a shock. Clearly, his eczema is aggravated by his obesity. Now, we can use diet to target his eczema, although I'm not expecting to see a great improvement unless he loses a lot of weight, which will ultimately save his life.
Although worried about his eczema, the priority for Tristan is to lose weight to improve his life expectancy. So dietitian Lucy Jones starts with a demonstration of how easy it is to gain weight in the first place.
So what we have on each of these 10 plates is a food item that is about 300 to 350 calories. Over 10 days, if you were to have one of these each day on top of what your body needs, you would gain a pound of fat. Over the course of a year, that would add up to 2 stone weight gain. So you can imagine how easy that is to do. We're only talking 3 biscuits or a large latte. So what I wanted to do is to show you what a pound of fat looks like. So what I have here is lard, basically, and it's coloured to look like body fat. I'm going to show you just how much fat can build up in your body in 2 weeks of exceeding your intake by 300 to 350 calories.
So this is just 2 weeks?
This is just 2 weeks.
It's quite disgusting, actually.
It really is, and it's quite an eye-opener to how easy that can happen in your body.
Rather than just cutting calories, Lucy has devised a healthy eating regime for Tristan, which will aim to help him stay fuller for longer and stop him hungering for fatty foods.
It's certainly not a starvation diet. You're actually going to be given about 2,000 calories a day. The approach is having very regular meals and snacks, because what we see is if somebody leaves it too long until they then eat, you end up so hungry that you overeat or then want to eat the wrong things because your cravings are up.
And to try to alleviate some of his eczema symptoms, Lucy has incorporated some anti-inflammatory elements into his food plan. This includes some foods which have been shown to boost the immune system and calm allergic reactions.
So we've got almonds, avocados and olive oil, olives as well, and some other nuts and seeds.
Other anti-inflammatory foods include fresh fruit and vegetables, oily fish like salmon or mackerel, and certain spices such as ginger.
Cool. Let's go for it.
Excellent.
It was extremely sobering. It was very, very difficult to hear, because if I carry on the way I'm going now, I'm not going to see 41.
Tristan will return in 10 weeks to see if his healthy eating and anti-inflammatory plan has helped his weight or his eczema. "12 weeks ago, Garrett visited the food hospital looking for a way to manage his agonising gout through food. Gio and Lucy prescribed a low purine food plan to try and lower his uric acid levels, hoping this would ease his gout symptoms. Now Garrett has done some repeat blood tests to see if their food regime has worked.
So let's take a look at your blood tests.
Okay.
So this is your current level of uric acid, and it's 534, which is a little bit on the high side.
Yep.
Previously, however, it was 590. And the benefits of that is it reduces your chance of getting attacks of gout, and also the risk of the complications from getting gout long term, which include things like joint damage and kidney stones, which is very impressive. How have your symptoms been in terms of joint pain and flare-ups?
I haven't noticed a great deal of pain now in the last kind of month or two.
So that's a significant improvement.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Great.
So
if we have a look at your cholesterol.
Although Garrett's gout was hereditary, some of it was due to lifestyle. On his first visit, his tests revealed high cholesterol levels, so Gio wants to see if his food plan has had any effect on this.
So this is a very impressive change.
Oh, okay.
So previously your total cholesterol was over 7.
Oh wow, so that's gone down a lot.
Right, it's now 5.5.
Excellent.
And even more than that, your bad cholesterol, which is the LDL, has gone down from 5.3 to 3.7.
That's great as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have to say, to achieve this level of reduction just through dietary means really demonstrates just how many changes you've made. I'm incredibly impressed.
Well, that's it. The diet was very good in that respect. It was harsh, but it wasn't a vegetarian diet, like, you know, so reducing everything down and eating tofu, you know, so...
The tofu. Now, look, when you came 3 months ago, you told me you hated soya and tofu. Have we moved on from that?
Well, I just don't see the point of tofu, to be honest.
Well, look, and the results speak for themselves. Clearly, you didn't need tofu.
No. Really too much tofu in tofu.
Astonishing results from Garrett in terms of his uric acid and cholesterol levels, which really show just how much hard work he's put into that plan. You just can't fake results like that.
It showed me how much food impacts upon a condition like gout. Yeah, I'm delighted.
This outcome is a huge success for Garrett, who's learned to manage his gout through the use of food as medicine. Tristan came to the food hospital with severe eczema, but it was his 34.5 stone weight that was the primary problem. While takeaway burgers are being replaced by low-fat chicken pittas and salad, Tristan has suffered a setback.
Currently my knee's a bit damaged. I've torn a ligament and been off my feet quite a bit. It will heal itself with the less weight to put on it, and there's only one way to do it, and that's losing weight.
But despite his injury, Tristan has joined a gym in a bid to burn some calories.
Okay.
10 left.
I feel more active now, and I feel like I want to build up on it. I want to start, working out, getting some cardio going.
5, keep going, 4, 3, last few seconds, 2, 1, perfect.
But if Tristan wants to really make an impact on his life-threatening weight, he will have to stick rigidly to his food plan for a long time into the future. The food hospital's next patient eats a diet so limited, she's lived on nothing but pancakes and chocolate for 2 years. 30-year-old Suzi from Northern Ireland feels nauseous if she eats anything else.
It's like having constant morning sickness. So I can't eat a very varied diet because it makes me sick.
This is a fairly unusual condition known as selective eating, and for this formerly healthy eater, it appeared to come from nowhere.
It was like somebody pushed a button and I went from really enjoying my food to not being able to eat. No, I'd eat it.
It's not classified as an eating disorder, but selective eating can be very restrictive. Physical symptoms include sickness and weight loss, but it also has a psychological effect and can cause anxiety and depression. For Suzi, this is aggravated by the sense of social exclusion.
I desperately want to sit down and eat that meal that I cook for the family every night. Good girl. It was our wedding anniversary a couple of weeks ago and we couldn't even go out for dinner. Every day is it's a missed opportunity to sit down with the family.
Although her selected foods of chocolate and pancakes are high in calories, her overall intake is dangerously low. Consuming only 500 calories a day, she's getting just a quarter of her recommended calorific intake for her age and sex.
I do sometimes wonder how long she can keep that up. Where does it end? Ultimately, it ends up in the grave.
As a mum of 3, Suzi worries her selective eating will take its toll on the whole family.
It's not a very good example to set to them, and is my biggest push to try and fix it and find out what's wrong, is the effect on a long-term basis that has on my kids, really.
Suzi has had tests and investigations to find the underlying cause of her selective eating problem, but without success. Now desperate for help, she's come to the food hospital to see Shaw and Geo.
The onset of this nausea and vomiting seems very sudden.
Yep.
Prior to that, when you were an adolescent, did you have any eating difficulties at all?
No.
Any family history of anything?
No.
Do you drink or smoke?
No.
Neither.
Did you have any pain anywhere? Anything else that happened
No.
at the same time?
Absolutely nothing.
Can I ask what the smell of food conjures up for you?
I love the smell of food. It makes me, the smell of a roast dinner in the house is lovely.
This is a very interesting readout, Suzi, because it really gives us the information that you have been chronically malnourished, and whilst you look healthy and you get by day to day, I think yours is a body on the edge. There's less than 20% fat in your body, which is quite low. Means that you don't have enough fat mass to weather any storms that might come your way.
So every organ in the body is going to be affected. That alone is a long-term health issue that you're going to have to address, and we're going to try and look at some of those things here.
Okay.
As well as seriously low body fat, Suzi is also lacking iron, calcium and other important vitamins and minerals. These are all vital for a healthy body. A vitamin C deficiency can lead to scurvy and, over long periods of time, even organ failure. And low levels of vitamin D and calcium can cause weak and brittle bones, leading to osteoporosis or rickets. Geo and Shaw want to devise a strategy with dietitian Lucy to reintroduce Suzi to a healthy range of foods.
My worry specifically with Suzi is that she's looking like a normal person, but she has low levels of all these trace elements and micronutrients.
She basically doesn't have a buffer zone at all to tolerate any stress on her body at this point, so her long-term health is definitely in danger.
I think it's really important that we try and develop her confidence to try foods. She's had years of this cycling through, trying things, failing, and that then puts on this whole psychological overlay of avoidance.
So I should try and gently reintroduce her back onto a range of foods?
Yeah, I think it's really important that we don't overload her and put her off the things we really need her to eat.
To help Suzi back to normal eating, the team are advising a plan of slow reintroduction. This will gradually add other foods into her diet and increase her nutrient intake. But after 2 years of only chocolate and pancakes, Suzi will need to take it step by step.
So in terms of starting to make dietary changes, it must be quite a scary thought for you.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
And I think that's why it's really important for us to do this in very small amounts initially, building up gradually, because what we don't want to do is for you to suddenly think, oh my God, that was awful, and we end up going back to square one.
This technique aims to reintroduce new foods one at a time in small amounts, building up until that food can be tolerated. A balanced diet contains foods from all 5 groups, which include fruit and veg, starchy foods like rice and potatoes, dairy, proteins like meat, and good fats like olive oil.
And what I'd like us to do is to start compiling a list of foods that you can eat. Perhaps try and introduce a new food every 3 to 4 days. And our aim for when you come back to us is that on that tolerated list, we're going to have at least one thing from each of the 5 food groups.
Okay.
But for Suzi, increasing the range of foods in her diet is a daunting challenge.
Yeah, feeling very nervous. It's going to be a huge step, but one that's got to be taken. So fingers crossed.
Ten weeks ago, 31-year-old Tristan was in denial about the extent of his health problems caused by his weight. Back then, he was 34.5 stone. Today, he's returned to see if the scales tell a different story.
When we first met you, we were really concerned that your attitude towards your own health was fairly blasé. Are you paying more attention to your own health needs?
I feel my lifestyle has completely changed where it comes to, what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable in food.
That change has certainly been demonstrated in the results. You've lost just over 3 stone in weight, and a lot of that has been a reduction in your fat mass. So you've done really well at getting to grips with the calorie intake so that you can burn off more than you're taking in.
Yeah.
Tristan has made a positive start to his weight loss programme. If he continues, he could massively improve his life expectancy and also relieve his immune system, which will affect his overall health.
Your other health complaint when we met you first time was eczema on your skin. Has there been any change in that?
Not so much in the fact that it's gone down. I mean, it's pretty much stayed the same as what it has before. I wasn't expecting great results.
Absolutely.
That can come at a later point.
Yeah. I'm not at all shocked that Tristan's eczema hasn't miraculously disappeared with his weight loss, but he has lost 3 stone, which is an amazing achievement for this point. He's done so much in such a little amount of time, and the longer he keeps going with this and the more weight he loses, hopefully he will see an improvement in his eczema.
Now I'm far more confident than I was before, thinking that I can definitely do this, I can definitely beat this. And I'm looking forward to carrying on like this for the rest of my life.
The food hospital has given Tristan the tools to reduce his weight and perhaps one day conquer his eczema. But what will the outcome for Suzi's selective eating and Debbie's depression be when they return to the food hospital? At home in Northern Ireland, it's the start of Suzi's slow reintroduction of food to try and overcome her selective eating. Her food hospital consultation was a wake-up call. She now sees how inadequate and dangerous her diet was.
My body's probably just hanging on by a thread at the minute and keeping me functioning. The bottom line is, if we don't fix this, things are going to start feeling.
Lucy wanted Suzi to try small quantities of new foods, one by one, building up a tolerance before trying another one. For her survival, it's vital that Suzi learns to eat at least one food from each of the 5 main food groups. This will take time, but today she's going to try yoghurt for the first time in 2 years.
I can't remember the last time you had a yoghurt.
It's a long time. Long time.
Go on then, go for it. First step.
I'm just going to dribble it everywhere now.
Get it did.
My taste buds are going absolutely nuts.
Mm.
Can I see that?
It's yogurt. Do you want to try a bit?
No, you eat it.
Yeah, you eat it, Mum.
Okay. I feel really, really full at the minute.
So you're still a cheap date then?
I'm still a cheap date, yeah. I suppose people watching probably think it's just a yogurt, but actually, that's quite a huge step.
It's a difficult process, but Suzi's biggest motivation is her 3 young children.
God, the thought of leaving them, you know, and not watching them grow up is horrific. So one way or another, you know, I've got to beat this so as I can go back to being a good mum and watch the kids grow up, really.
Now 10 weeks after her first visit, Suzi is back at the food hospital to report back on her progress to Gio, Shaw and Lucy.
Tell us what you are eating now.
Oh gosh, so much. Potatoes, cheese, yogurts, plums, and still my chocolate and my pancakes. And my safe foods are still there.
But we're getting something from every food group?
Yeah, it's all in.
Do you feel better for it?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's made a huge difference. You know, I sit down with the family at dinner time now, and even though it's just, you know, cheese and potatoes I have, but I actually feel like I'm sitting down to have dinner with them.
The crux of what we've done is helped you get the nutrients in that your body needs for a long-term healthy future, because without it, you weren't really going very far.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think you've averted disaster as far as your health is concerned, because you had a diet that was essentially really deficient in essential nutrients, and you're basically suffering from malnutrition. So you put yourself on a path to recovery that in the long term is going to really reap benefits, like you're going to reduce your risk of things like osteoporosis. So it's a hugely positive outcome, and I think we're all extremely pleased for you.
Absolutely.
I'm very happy with the progress that I've made this far. With regard to the future, I think I've still got a long road ahead of me, but there's certainly an end in sight.
Armed with the techniques to expand her food intake, Suzi can start to look forward to a better life for her and her children. "10 weeks ago, Debbie came to the food hospital looking for a new way to tackle the depression that was dominating her life. Now Gio and Lucy want to know if her serotonin-boosting food plan has made any difference to her symptoms.
Debbie, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good. I can't even describe how bad I was before. I think I was really low. Lots of mood swings, which was a main thing, and I wanted to be more constant. And now I've become sort of more sort of sprightly. Just the level just generally has been heightened. I'm feeling really positive.
And it's quite interesting because we've actually got a measure of your depression in this questionnaire that we originally did.
Okay.
And the higher you score, the more depressed you are. So the first one that you did, you scored 14, which is sort of moderately high score as far as depression is concerned.
Yeah.
Okay. If we compare that to your current questionnaire, you scored 1. Okay.
That's great.
And the things that have improved, your sleep has improved massively, as has your mood and sort of tearfulness as well.
I haven't actually cried for quite a while now, and not long after I started eating better, those sort of things stopped.
Another thing you were telling us about last time was these energy slumps and lack of concentration. Has that improved?
Yes, the concentration levels were very dipped, especially when I was playing pool.
Right.
I wanted to sustain it over a longer period, and I feel now I'm doing that.
Excellent.
So yeah, I'm very pleased.
Winning more competition?
Yes, I've just won the Nottingham Ladies Championships and the mixed pairs.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so things, yeah, I know. So things, yeah, everything's going well.
But that also builds on itself. The better you do, the more confident you feel.
Yeah.
And that's a sort of positively reinforcing sort of cycle, which you seem to have got into, which is fantastic.
It's just a complete change of eating style, and it works.
I'm astonished at the change in Debbie. She's had a 360 turnaround in her eating habits. On top of that, she's not feeling depressed, she's not crying, and she's looking fantastic. We could not have asked for a better outcome.
I didn't really think it would make that much difference. I was a bit sceptical, and it is a bit of a surprise. I feel more positive about myself and about what I'm doing, and everything feels fine, and it's going to work out for the best, and that's how I feel, genuinely.
This is a great result for Debbie and the team at the Food Hospital in their commitment to promoting the benefits of food as medicine.